I'm Bjorn. I race for Trek Future Racing, which is a U23 development team. I'm moving into the elite category next year, and when I have off season, I do this stuff. I try to create art. I don't know if it's art, but something. My whole other life, if I wasn't a cyclist, I think I would get lost so quickly in this stuff. My mom was an artist when I was a kid, and then she would force me to paint art with her in our backyard all the time, and I did not really like it that much. But then during high school, I started doing online school. It was, I think, junior year. And then by my senior year, I had a lot of time on my hands. So I was in a film developing class and then an art class, and I fell in love with film. And I was horrible at taking photos. I sucked at it. I didn't know the settings and all that stuff because in general still I don't know that stuff. But I really liked the on-hand section of actually developing your film. And so I would just be in the darkroom for 4 to 5 hours a day, just trying to fix my photos that I took that were horrible. I got started in my sport mainly just through my family. I think we're a group that loves just working out, and every single weekend since I was 12 or 13 or 14, we would go out into the mountains and camp in our Sprinter, and either it would be riding or Nordic skiing. And it was always about the adventure aspect of it, and not how many miles you would do or what power, but it was more just if we wanted to go to the top of this mountain, we would go up there, and it didn't matter how long it would take, how many stops. It was just more about the experience. And that's how I fell in love with cycling. Started doing a little more art in college, and when COVID hit, I had a lot more time on my hands, and I think I started finding myself a little bit more. And then when I moved over to Europe, I think that's when it really excelled, because I moved to a super small town in Austria, and I think there's under 2,000 people living there, so I had really no one to hang out with, and so I would just ride, come back, paint, draw, and I have a sewing machine too, so I would just do all that stuff, and I fell in love with just being alone and doing my own thing and painting or just creating. So I think, yeah, my thing is without cycling, I can't do art, and without art, I can't do cycling. They both complement each other in very different ways, and yeah, I just fell in love with it when I moved over to Europe. 3 years ago, I got the chance to move to Europe and try racing for this development team, which is it was Trek Valid, which is now Trek Future. And I felt like that was the time where, yeah, it was an opportunity to go try racing or try that style of racing at a higher level. And it was, yeah, a chance to figure out if I was wasting my time training or if I wasn't. And I found out that I really liked it. But I still didn't really know if I could really do it at a higher level. But then this year I really surprised myself. I put in a lot more work, but I really surprised myself with my results. And then going into my elite years now, it feels like I'm living a dream a little bit. It's a little stressful, but I think the main thing is I just gotta stay focused on the reason why I like biking, which is the adventure aspect. And if I do that, then everything will come. So when you're training, it's a super structured sport, like any sport is. You have to do certain intervals. You have to go at this power, this heart rate, this time, and all that. But then you also have those times where you can just do a super long 6-hour ride. But now, for the most part, it's so structured that you got to be really strict with your training. You can't go and just have these super fun rides. But then with art, I think it's, in a sense too, they're completely the same. But with art, I think it's a lot more aggressive, or at least the style I like doing now is a lot more aggressive. So I have there's no plan for what I'm gonna do. It's really just I slowly figure out what I'm gonna do when I start. But I think that's also where it's sort of when I was a kid in cycling, you would just start your ride and figure out where you're gonna go as you go. It wasn't about this route you're gonna hit or anything. So I think they complement each other in the way where they're almost the exact same, just in different forms. I don't know, there's just so much about the two that I feel are similar, yet different. It's really cool, yeah. The past 3 years I've done a lot of work, and the things I did differently was really the first year I noticed it's all about the little things. You can do all the training, but if you go back and you don't stretch or you don't have the right amount of carbs and all that, you aren't going to get like as good benefit or such a good benefit as you would with that stuff. And then the other thing I think I found in the last 2 years, I started working with a new coach, and the longer hours for me in low zone 1 really helps. And then that means I can just go ride for 6 hours, do a beautiful adventure, and it's not about how fast you go, it's just about riding. And then you can crush intervals the next day, and it feels like you didn't just do 6 hours. And you still burn a lot of calories. So I think, yeah, the past year, I think the biggest thing was for sure the endurance training, and then also gym. This is the first year I've really properly done gym, and for the power output stuff, that really helps. Black. I'm gonna do blue. That's daring. We're talking about daring stuff. I'm also someone I like being busy a lot. So when I go and just do my riding and then sit around for the rest of the day, I just feel like I've wasted a lot of time. So I love the idea of, like, I wake up, I draw, and then I go ride, and then I come back and I draw, or then I sew, and just my whole day's filled. So I just like it because I never have to be on someone else's schedule. I'm a night owl, that's for sure. And I think with art, I love coming here at like 8 p.m. and just going going as fast as possible till I could, like, if I don't look at a clock, it could be 2 a.m. and I would have thought it was 10. So I think the hardest part for me is, being able to schedule my time right, because I'm in love with both sports so much, but with art I don't have structure, so I can paint for however long I want, and it's like cycling. If I didn't have structure, it'd be really hard to stop. Like, I'd want to go for 8 hours and ride. But because I have structure, I do stop because I know there's an end goal. For art, I don't know what the end goal is, so I just do it till I get tired, and then I'll keep going. Now cycling is my job, so I need to make sure I'm resting and all that. And as much as this is rest, it still takes out a lot out of me at the end of the day. So when you slowly go up into the higher levels of training, having that place where you can disconnect from cycling or from any other sport is super helpful, because now I've noticed most of my friends all in the cycling realm. So when I hang out with them, we only talk about biking. And as much as that's cool, I have a lot more different passions, and when you're always talking about the same thing, you get burnt out at some point. So for me, art is a way of, when I'm cracked on cycling, I just go and draw in my sketchbook, and I fully zone out from the cycling aspect, and I just zone into the art. And then when I talk to artists too, they don't even know what biking is. They ask me what mountain biking is, and it's awesome because then they don't even know who I am, and I'm just like another ghost, and it's really fun, yeah. But I want to have it where I have my own space, where throughout the year I can paint and still do both and still produce more art, because I do really want to transfer. I think the cycling community can be so much more creative, but we aren't. And I think it's changing now, but I really want to be a part of that wave and kind of hopefully show my audience that there's more to cycling, and everyone should just be creative, and who cares about what other people think. So that's why I want to keep creating.